Welcome back everybody to my Luck of the Irish series. It is episode 4. For this one I got a pretty unique film. Kind of wasn't expecting this kind of film to be on here, but the film that I'm going to be talking about is a film from 2012 I believe, called Portrait of a Zombie. In case you want to know what the film is about, a working class Irish family is caught up in a zombie invasion of Dublin, Ireland. When their son Billy becomes a zombie, the family chooses to take care of him in the home, much to the chagrin of the neighbors and the local crime boss. Meanwhile, they've invited an American documentarian to film this situation, and the film crew is then caught up in the mayhem. Will the family prove that blood is thicker than water, or will their love lead to their eventual doom? One thing is clear for the zombies in Ireland: the famine is definitely over. I was really impressed with this one. It's definitely got like a low budget feel to it. This particular film is a good example of a low budget film that does everything with a budget. You can see it's a low budget and it's got that feel to it, but at the same time it used its budget to the fullest. I think it cost about $50,000 US. The original title of this film, I think, I could be wrong on this, it's called About a Zombie, and it could be a clear reference to another film called About a Boy. Not entirely sure if that was the intention, or the documentary angle of that is something that you don't normally see in a film. I know that Diary of the Dead was a film that took a somewhat of a similar approach, but it was more of a found footage zombie horror film, whereas this one's more of like a mockumentary type thing. It was perfectly shot and framed, it was well written. The editing was very interesting. Also along the same lines, the structure of the film. It starts off a year after everything happening, and then it kind of, through interview footage, we're told the story of what happened, and we also see that footage as well. So it's got like present day stuff and then older stuff. At times it's kind of confusing to tell which one's which. There's no markers to say, oh, this is the present, this is the past, but it worked. The effects are well executed. The zombie makeup and prosthetics look very believable, but I'm not sure if they're perfect, but they're perfect enough that they're very believable. Despite like the issue with the no markers showing like which is the past and which is the present, it's a well-paced film. It's full of lore and mythology. It makes you think about like, this is likely what would happen if, basically I think it's the most realistic take on if a zombie apocalypse happened, especially at the beginning. They even have like an interview with the nurse or doctor at a hospital, and she talks about like the whole zombie thing in a different way that's never talked about in zombie films, which is really cool. It has a grayish look that works really well with the tone of the film, and that grayish look, kind of like a low budget kind of look, kind of hard to explain, but like it's very common in low budget films to have it like this. It has some darkly comedic lines in it. Now I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I did find some lines that were pretty funny. The acting is very good. The storyline of the film is very good. Overall, like everything, it kind of reminds me with a bit of 28 Days Later, in the sense that it did something different and new with the zombie aspect of the film. Obviously, 28 Days Later was a much better film than this. I'm just saying, like, with the angle that they decided to shoot the story on, it's so different than what you normally see, so it kind of stands out a little bit, but I don't think this film is that well known, and because of the low budget look that it has and feel, it might not interest a lot of people. But if I had to give this film a rating, I'd probably give it a 9.8 because it's almost like a refreshing take on the whole zombie genre. As you probably know, the zombie genre is just oversaturated with stuff, and it's hard to pick out what's good and what's not, and that might be because of a certain TV show. Even though the show is good, it's just, it kind of caused that whole resurgence of it, and just kind of started the oversaturation of like imitators and stuff like that. But if you haven't seen this film, I'd recommend you check it out. Unfortunately, I don't know where you can buy a DVD Blu-ray copy. I was only able to find a copy of it for rent on Apple TV, which is unfortunate. I think there is some like physical copies out there somewhere, so if you can find one for a good price, I don't think anybody would be really disappointed with this film. It does have that low budget look, so it might turn off a few viewers. Hope you like this review, and give it a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment down below what other Irish films you think I should check out, or just any films in general that you'd like to see me do a review on, or just check out. I'm open to pretty much anything. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the rest of them. See ya.